I'm Shane Hewitt. I am in Ottawa. Thanks for joining us all across Canada here from the nation's capital to you. 71010 is our text to the line. If you want to reach out, 855-633-1010. And I did receive a lot of comments because previously Chris Abel had mentioned about playing video games on the Jumbotron. But he did deliver real Chris Abel on the X, if you want to follow on Twitter. And the photos are there. You can't beat it. The chairs look comfy, Chris. That was pretty all right.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So you asked, you wanted to see it. What does it look like? Well, it is there for you on Twitter to check out. Welcome back, buddy, as always. Shall we get into a little action here with robot super macho man suits? I don't know. What do you call it?
I think the generic term is exoskeleton, which is a suit that you put on and it adds hydraulic muscles to your body. And generally, the case is to increase your strength, to increase your stamina. This has been something that's been developed for a long time. So if you go back to 2005, I saw one of the very first suits that was invented, very, very rough. And I had a very small, young, petite Asian girl come over wearing it. And she said, please lie down. So I laid down. And then she put her hands underneath me and then picked me up and walked around carrying me, giggling away like I was a little infant or a baby in her arms. It's fantastic technology. I've been watching it develop over 20 years. We're now at the point, though, where there are companies around the world who are all ready to start marketing this as a finished product. I know last week we talked about companies in China that are renting these suits for tourists to be able to walk with those who have elderly issues. But also there is a company in the United States that's starting to market them as fitness products for hikers, for people who want to go outdoors and go farther and faster. But what I want to talk about this week is the Canadian version. There's a company in Vancouver called Human in Motion Robotics, and their version is far, far advanced. So it's a suit that, yes, you put on, you wear it, but not only does it increase your stamina, your strength, but it also maintains your balance. So much like humanoid robots have to constantly maintain their balance or they fall over, and that's true of us human beings. Our brains are always measuring our balance to keep us standing. These set of legs do that, which means this is the first set of exoskeleton legs that I've seen that can be used for people who can't walk at all. So those who've had a spinal injury, when they put it on, they can now walk using these legs. It's truly amazing. And this company in Vancouver is now at the point where the actual technology is finished. They just need to test the legs in terms of battery life, aesthetics, the final stages, and they're using rehab clinics to do that this April. And so they're on the market where this could actually be released as a mobility device. So those people who normally use a wheelchair or a walker can look forward to instead having a set of Iron Man-like power legs that they can wear.
That's incredible. How do they, I guess for paraplegic, have they figured out for control stuff yet with that, like remote control for people who don't have any control versus diminished control, those kinds of things?
Yes, and those are excellent questions. And I've kind of wondered in terms of how far have they gotten with this? And I got the answer. It's truly remarkable. So one example of just how much control these have is that you have the person who's a paraplegic, they're sitting in a wheelchair, they want to use the legs. Of course, you can't always depend on someone around who's going to be able to help you. You want to have independence and do it by yourself. You simply pull out your phone and use an app. You can summon the legs. The legs power up and they walk by themselves over to you, stand in front of you, and the person in the wheelchair then just transfers over from their wheelchair into the legs, strap themselves in, and they can now walk about no problem. So there's an app built into a phone to be able to offer greater control, but already the legs are there that they're just waiting for you to step into them and then you start walking.
It sounds similar to, say, how a paraplegic would transfer into the bed, right? When they're going from the chair to their bed or from the chair to their car if they were driving.
You got it, or over to the sofa. So it's the same idea that you use the same system to be able to just pop over. You're sitting from the chair, you're then sitting into the pair of legs. And then once you're strapped in, it all powers up and you start walking around like Iron Man.
So, I mean, if you're hearing this for the first time, and if this affects you, like this is, I mean, costs and all the things, there's still going to be inhibiting factors here, but that's how cool and life altering this is. I can't imagine that feeling for someone who's waited a long time for that, Chris. This is great news. That's In Motion Robotics. They're Canadian, which is cool. That's Vancouver. Referees, let's just touch on this one quick here so we can make sure we get the third one in too, because I like that one. Referees using their watches to help them out.
So the NHL and Apple have partnered together to create an app so that referees, when they're wearing an Apple Watch now, the watch will indicate periods of time, so changes for power plays, for periods and penalties through vibration, which means that the referee, when he's wearing the watch, he'll get a vibration pattern that lets him know when a penalty's over, when a period's over. They don't have to then take their eyes off the ice. They don't have to look at the watch or the clock on the wall. All the changes that are happening in terms of the time on the game is happening invisibly on their wrist. And so this is something that's happening again with the Red Wings versus Columbus Blue Jackets. Is the first game that's going to be actually trying this out, but hopefully if it works out well, then it should make a great improvement in terms of the rulings and the calls.
The penalty part is really cool. Just the buzz that the penalty's ending. Those things are pretty cool to be able to help out the referees too. Okay, Chris Abel is here. I'm Shane Hewitt, and Monopoly Money. You can go shopping with Monopoly Money finally. We've always wanted it. Is that what we're getting to?
We're getting to the point where it's the 90th anniversary of Monopoly. Hard to believe. So this August, because Hasbro has recognized that there's an entire generation who doesn't use paper money, doesn't even know what it is. And I've met people who look at me confused whenever I talk about paper money. Huh? They pay for everything with a card. So this is a version of Monopoly where everybody has a plastic card. They don't have paper money anymore. And instead, what everybody does is they download an app to their phone, and then the app is the banker for the board and then controls all the transactions that are going on. Everybody just simply pulls out their card when they want to buy a property or add a rental piece to it. This is something that's coming out in August. And again, it's a big part of the celebration for the 90th anniversary of Monopoly.
The longest game ever if you're playing with the wrong people, until it becomes the fastest ending game because somebody has clearly won and nobody even wants to finish the game anymore. I love Monopoly. It's a fantastic game. When we can start taking Monopoly money to go buy groceries though, Chris, I think that's the real win.
Oh, I love Monopoly money. And especially, I love it when Americans come up and call our paper money Monopoly money, because we actually have really, really cool money that's all different colors.
Yeah, well, we sort of have a global standard as opposed to the old school bits and pieces there. I love this. Okay, so is that too far, do you think, of the tech, though, for the video or for the board game to making it too fancy? Is it making it too... I mean, I guess it brings in the young kids to play in a way they're more comfortable.
Well, the one thing that they've added that I'm interested, that I think might be taking it too far, is that in addition to having the app take care of the money transactions, the app also has mini games. So there's going to be points in which you roll, you land on the square. Instead of picking up a card like Community Chest, you have to go to your phone and then play a little tiny mini game. And then once you complete the mini game, then you learn how much money you've earned or something like that. To me, I think that may take it a little too far. When you have to stop playing the board game to play a video game so you can go back
to the board game. Yeah, I would agree with that. I know that they changed some of the rules around Risk. I bought a new version I bought Risk and I thought it was the same, but yeah, it's a little bit different now. It's not quite the same as it used to be. And you know, sometimes progress is great. Sometimes progress isn't everything. And, but the old school Monopoly is good. And there are some cities in Canada that have licensed versions of their own towns. I know there's like a Flin Flon one and there's other ones. I just know that because it's my hometown. If you like to play the Monopoly, now that you say that, maybe there's a little Monopoly on my weekend this weekend. I think I'm excited. Hey. Chris Abel, thanks, bud. As always, great to see you.
No problem. Take care.
Real Chris Abel. You can check it out on Twitter. Great way to connect. KRISABEL for Chris, just because he's cool like that. He's just cool like that. He's cool like that. He's cool like that. Shane Hewitt and the Night Shift. Thank you.